Chapter 7. Maria looked confused. What? What is it? Liz started talking fast. The way she always does things like, Pugsley only wants attention. That's why he's so bad. And instead of giving him attention, we tried to ignore him, so he tries harder and harder to get attention. She stared back at Maria, then at Pugsley. Now he was digging madly in the dirt over by the seesaw. Then she looked back at Maria. Maria looked confused. She said. So what if we just give him more attention before he can misbehave? Lizzie could not stop grinning. Her idea was brilliant. She was a genius. She can see herself now, except in the prize for dog trainer of the year. It just came to me, she would say in her acceptance speech. She would mention Maria too. Of course, Maria had been there. She would deserve a bit of the credit. Lizzie? Lizzie was so deep in her daydream that it took her a minute to answer. Yes. That attention thing. I think Pugsley needs some right now. Maria nodded towards Pugsley, who was busy pulling out petunias on her flower bed near the park's front gate. Whee! Look at me! This is the most fun ever. Look at the pretty flowers. Watch the dirt fly. Whee! Oops! Lizzie jumped off her swing and sprinted towards Pugsley. She didn't just yell at him for what he was doing. She just scooped him up and nuzzled his soft, wrinkly face. Hey, you, she said gently into his ear. You're about to get as much attention as you can stand. She sat Pugsley on the grass and started petting him. Who's the cutest little pest? She cooed. Who is? Maria came over and stuck the plants back in their holes and then patted the soil around them. I think they'll be okay. She sat back on her heels and looked at Pugsley, all curled up in Lizzie's lap. Boy, oh boy, she said. I see what you mean. And a little less attention. He already looks calm and happy. And a calm, happy dog is a good dog, Lizzie added. Let's take him home and throw the tennis ball for him, for that way he can burn off some more energy. After that, I'll brush him for a while. And then maybe Charles can read to him. Charles liked to read the comics to Buddy. It had become his Sunday tradition next to Dad's blueberry pancakes. Though it wasn't Sunday, he would read the daily comics to Pugsley. That was the beginning of Operation No More Pest, as Charles named it. Over the next week, the whole Pearson family concentrated on giving Pugsley all the attention any dog in the world would crave for. Of course, they made sure to give Buddy lots of attention too, so he wouldn't be jealous. But Pugsley was the star of the show, and he loved the limelight. One day, Lizzie and Maria took Pugsley downtown to meet some of their friends, including Jerry Small, the town librarian who owned Lucky Dog Books, the best bookstore ever. Jerry had adopted Buddy's mommy, Skipper. My, who's this? Jerry said as Maria and Lizzie walked in with Pugsley and Leash. These dogs were welcome in Jerry's Small's bookstore. In fact, Skipper practically lived there. Jerry knelt down to pat Pugsley in the head. The pug pulled on his leash, putting his paws on Jerry's knee. Hi, can I lick you? Pugsley, Lizzie chuckled. Be good! She's trying to teach him to say hello without jumping up and licking people's faces. Jerry called over for Skipper, and a bigger female version of Buddy came trotting out from behind the counter. Skipper, meet Pugsley. Jerry said. Pugsley was still looking at Jerry's face, but he stopped for a second to sniff Skipper. Lizzie would have loved to browse in the bookstore, but she didn't. Instead, she stayed close to Pugsley, making sure he got plenty of attention. He behaved very, very well. Well, at least until Jerry gave him a dog biscuit, which made him so happy that he jumped around a bit, and he knocked over all the calendars. Another day, Charles and Lizzie took Pugsley to meet Miss Peabody, an elderly woman who lived at the Meadows. Mrs. Peabody and Charles had met when they were members of the Grand Buddies, a program of schools where kids could hang out with older people for friends. Miss Peabody had adopted one of the Petersons' first foster puppies, a baby Westie named Snowball. Mrs. Peabody thought Pugsley was delightful, but Snowball did not want Mrs. Peabody paying attention to any other dogs besides him. Lizzie could understand that. She couldn't quite remember, so she probably felt the same way when she was 2 years old and Mom and Dad had just brought a baby Charles home from the hospital. If Lizzie had been a dog, she would have barked at the new little person taking up her parents' time. So Lizzie hugged Snowball, but she sure made sure Pugsley got most of her attention. Pugsley got lots of attention from all the people at the Meadows, too. They thought he was the cutest thing ever, and he behaved... Hey, you did nicely. You don't count the moment where he chewed on a guy's scarf or stole another guy's cane. The next day, Dad and Lizzie took Pugsley down to meet Dad's firefighter friends, along with Gunner, a Dalmatian, who was the fire station mascot. Except... The visit went well, except when Pugsley latched himself onto Gunner's back if he wanted the bigger dog to take him for a ride. Hey, Gunner didn't like that too much. The firefighters started snickering. They thought Pugsley was the funniest little thing ever. They picked him up and passed him around and hugged him until he struggled to get down. Best of all was the way Mom figured how to make sure Pugsley was out of trouble by giving him plenty of attention when the rest of the family was around. Since Mom usually worked at home most of the day, making stories for the Littleton News, she and Pugsley spent lots of time together. When Lizzie came home from school one day, she saw that Mom had popped Pugsley into the carrier that she used to keep the bean close when he was a baby. It was like a soft backpack that was strapped to Mom's chest, like a kangaroo's pouch. Even though he couldn't run and play in the strapper, Pugsley loved being in the carrier. Holy smokes, he's actually purring, Mom told Lizzie. She smiled down the pug puppy and patted his head. Oh, it's cozy in here. And I don't want to do anything at all to get someone's attention. All I need to do is relax. Maybe I'll have another lovely nap. By the time Wednesday rolled around again, Pugsley had calmed down that nobody wasn't calling him Mr. Pest anymore. Lizzie just hoped he would behave at Bowser's backyard. Aunt Amanda was gonna be amazed at what a good puppy he turned into. She had might even invite him and Lizzie to Camp Bowser over the weekend. There was the only one part about the whole thing. Pugsley was going to behave, so that meant it was time to find him a forever home. The Pearsons were only his foster family. After all, someday soon they would have to say goodbye to Mr. Pest for good.